This is Tinga, one of the major towns on the main Bamboi-Bole road in the Bole district of the northern region, and these trucks, loaded with goods and people, are getting ready for the journey to Kui, one of the communities that has become so popular in the Bole district over the last 4 years. In the last 4 years, Kui has become the hub of trading in the district, attracting people from all walks of life. Our car got stuck a couple of times before we got to the small village that has all of a sudden become a town. Passengers had to get down to help push the car out of the mud. Small-scale miners as well as gold buyers defy all odds, including the bad nature of the road, just to get gold. It had rained the previous day, and so the road was in terrible condition. One thing that strikes when one enters the town is the sound of stone cracking machines, which they call chanfines. Young people, both male and female, are found operating the machines, while others are seen carrying loads of stone and sand to be cracked for gold. The dry method of cracking stones for the precious metal has been discouraged, and water is used. This is to prevent the dust from polluting the atmosphere, as well as prevent the Galamsey operators from inhaling the dust. Kuira Al-Hassan Saidu Amankwa III is the chief of Kui, and according to him, ever since a hunter found an unusual stone which was later found to be gold almost 5 years ago, everything about the town has changed. Today, there are people from most ECOWAS countries in the Galamsey business. Kuira Al-Hassan tells us Galamsey is regulated by him. One thing that is quite obvious is the absence of Chinese miners, unlike the case in southern Ghana, where Chinese miners have taken over small-scale mining. Why is this so? Kuira Al-Hassan explains.
And I'm here because of Ghanaians, not aliens. I assure you, if even you come back here after 20 years, there's no way you see even a single Chinese here. Not like in the South. Here is purely for Ghanaians. And our brothers and sisters, they should also come, get whatever they want to better their lives. That's all. Those from the ECOWAS neighboring countries, fine, that's yes. Because we are like the same people, and that much I will not say anything about. But foreigners like Chinese, international, no, there's no way you ever come to meet whoever, whether Koreans, Chinese, or Americans, or Canadians.
Most of the small-scale miners have been registered, while others are also waiting to be registered by the Minerals Commission as small-scale miners. Now, they don't get the gold in quantities as they used to. Some of them also told us that they get money from the buyers to pre-finance their operations, after which they refund the money. Some of the indigents in the region who had been in the business in the south for decades have been attracted and have decided to come home. Some of them spoke to us.
Yeah, this woman said, yeah, about 3 years. The 2 years ago, production of our farm.
Gold is some kind of surface. You don't need to go as far deep like we are tracing here. And here we also have a problem, like if some kind of NGOs or maybe government could bring some surveyors here, down here, to trace, to tell us exactly the main layers at this particular area and how deep we can go down before we can get the gold. I think the buyers will be able to come.
Many people has come with progressing. So when they went back home, others in their houses, they try to come to also try their best to see whether they can make the end meet.
The buyers in the business seem to make the most out of the small-scale miners, as they are the ones who finance most of the operations. James Bediakon is one of such buyers, and he explains the role of the buyer and how much they make.
I have contacts at Bamboy and all around that area where there's good small mining too. So at the end of the week when things are there, they don't get it every day like here. Okay. But always at the weekends. So we go around and then we are able to buy a little bit from there together with what we get here. If permissions and then all those things will be granted to at least those of us who are on this small scale mining business to at least really carry it on, it would have at least helped the citizens very well. Because somebody who has been in this business for over 3, 4, 5 or 10 years, seriously, I don't see the sort of employment you will give the person and he will like it as compared to this one. Because seriously, it makes money, especially when the price of the gold starts shooting up at the world market. It affects us here, so we also get some.
Now, the small miners do not get gold in large quantities as compared to when small-scale mining started in the town some years ago. And the miners now want to enter deep mining, perhaps a testimony of the visibly huge heaps of sand in the area, raising strong issues of environmental degradation. But Kura Al-Hassan Saidu tells us the community allows only surface mining and not other forms for fear of environmental degradation of the land. He also tells us a number of the small-scale miners are now into farming as a measure to reclaim the land.
We are allowing this surface mining just because of the unemployment situation we have on our hands in this country. Especially the 3 northern parts of Ghana, where the problem of unemployment is a very serious factor to this. Alright. That is why we allow parents to come in here to do this surface mining so that they can take care of their families, pay school fees.
District Chief Executive of Bole, Alhaji Samson Saidu Abudu, also tells us the district organizes periodic educational programs for the Galamsey operators with officials from the Environmental Protection Agency. According to him, the assembly will try as much as possible to make sure that the land is not degraded like other parts of the country.
Encourage that wherever they excavate, at least after having taken the rocks, they should try to cover it back so that in future generations yet unborn can also come and utilize the land. But if they dig the trenches and they leave them uncovered, then that makes it very unpleasant and unsafe for all of us. I've been able to talk to the regional director for EPA, and he personally paid, I think, 2 separate visits and had interactions with organized public forum for them, and he gave a lot of education.
Alhaji Samson Saidu Abudu also noted the assembly is in talks with an Australian mining firm to establish a mining company at Kui. But the Kwira disagrees. He noted that foreign companies only come to deprive the community of their resources and leave the people more impoverished. He said he would not allow any foreign company on his land. But the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Dr. Tony Obing, said the only way communities can feel the impact of mining companies is by bracing themselves up for the job. He said when communities start investing in the education of their young ones, they would be ready to be employed in the mining companies.
I think that I share the concern of the chief, because the chief would also always be concerned about its subject getting employment and all that. But it is important that our people just don't stay there and then do Galamsey just because they will not be asked certificates. They must be able to go and acquire certificate and come and work as managers in the companies. I think we should prepare them for much better positions. Otherwise, it's going to be a challenge for us and for the future.
Dr. Tony Obing also tells us that authorities need to take a second look at small-scale mining. He noted that their contribution to mining in the country cannot be overemphasized, but there are important issues of streamlining their operations. This can help improve the lives of everybody, and then development can be brought to the people.
The same people doing it can do it, but this time it will not be doing it and running away when the police or the soldier comes, but doing it legally that nobody will come and disturb you. So it is a business. It is a lucrative business. All we're saying is that people should do it legally, so that they hold a responsibility to rehabilitate the grounds as well. After all, the environment or the land and the natural resources do not belong to you and I alone.
We are told of other villages that had gold deposits in the area. The Galamsey operators are moving into these areas as well. As the Quira tells us, this is the time for northern Ghana to bridge the gap and use its natural resources better than was managed in the south. The mining companies have failed some communities, but can Galamsey turn the tables around in the north? As I walk through the Galamsey fields into the village, which has now turned into an economic hub with lots of activities, I think of a lot of things, including how I will travel the 23-kilometer Kuitenga road without being stuck in the mud. We got stuck again, but with the belief in what the Quira and the Bole DC tells us, the place would be more developed than other places in the south. After all, there is gold in the north. We live to see.